As Topo pushes his near-unconscious body to stand, he makes a bold statement, a tribute to something he had said long ago, and an underlying story and meaning was thrown into this episode. Dispo had just failed to save a fellow Pride Trooper. He started to declare his revenge on Hit, but he was sharply interrupted. Topo had seen enough. He told Dispo that they were done playing the hero. From now on, there was no justice. There was only survival or erasure. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? But there's a huge difference between the two times that Topo declared this, and it isn't as simple as saying, this time he got God power. Topo is the leader of the Pride Troopers. Justice lives in his very core. It's not something so easy to just give up on. When he said this to Dispo, he didn't really understand fully the meaning those words held. They made a point to show Jiren as if he was seeing the breakdown in Topo coming. He was seeing the decision to become a god of destruction slowly forming in Topo's mind. But now, things have changed. Jiren looks across the stage. The decision he had seen forming was finally a complete thought. This was a great reaction. Jiren is always emotionless. But these moments of him digging deeper into Topo's thoughts proved to me that he actually means something to Jiren. And this is a side we never get to see of him. This changed my outlook of Jiren. There's more to what he's fighting for than just the Super Dragon Balls, but his statement meant more than just that. Notice he said it was Topo's decision that had led to this change of energy. It instantly made sense that this is what's required to become a god of destruction. We've been waiting to see some passage of rights from Belmod given to Topo, but Jiren's words made it clear to me that the true change comes when a candidate internally accepts their duties. Belmod and Universe 11 Supreme Kai mentioned that from this point on, it's a real fight for survival. The full weight of Topo's declaration to leave justice behind was finally understood, and so the power of a god started to envelop him. 4 markings appeared glowing on his chest. What exactly was this though? None of the gods of destruction wear a shirt, so this should be something easily visible, yet none of them have markings like this. Was this the ritual of becoming a god of destruction? This is something we'll be discussing in the Anafam's Discord server. It's gonna be crazy active in there, so join in with the link in the pinned comment. However, Frieza does not find this look impressive. At first thought, his fearless reaction told me to expect something more from him. Did he really have something to counter it? But when Android 17 jumps behind Topo, those hopes were set aside, as he simply says that he hopes this is nothing more than a new angry look. Clearly, this was classic Frieza, the flaw that continuously pushes him down. He tests this new angry look out and finds that he was completely wrong. And that's when Topo's biggest anime secret was revealed. The manga had said this all the way back during the Zen exhibition match. This being such an important detail, I was sure they wouldn't leave it out of the anime. And sure enough, as Beerus stands in disbelief of the destruction surrounding Topo, Belmod and his Supreme Kai leak the news. Topo is the candidate for Universe 11's God of Destruction. Belmod takes it one step further to answer a question that was laying heavy on my mind. Was this the full power of a God of Destruction, or the power he had known already and just now decided to release it? By making up his mind, Topo was now no different from an actual God of Destruction. Yet Frieza still laughs at this fact, blinded by his flaw. He was flat out being cocky, as was proven when Topo built the ball of destruction energy. Frieza stands unworried. He's seen this power before. He had once been trapped inside, but he quickly shrunk it into a manageable size. This would be no problem. But as the energy increases more and more, the truth got even clearer, a truth that Frieza still refused to see. He takes the energy with one hand. It doesn't last long before he's been sucked inside, still wondering how this was even possible. But what happened to him after that? They continue on with the fight, never showing the energy Frieza is trapped inside. Topo never took the time to push the ball of energy off the stage, and with it being a literal ball of destruction, shouldn't Topo have expected it to be too much to handle, to actually destroy Frieza instead of just eliminating him? Let me know what you think about Topo leaving him there. Was he really risking disqualification due to ending someone's life? But that's when the depth of his powers were made known. The stands and the Zenos were surrounded by a barrier as Topo's destructive power spread across the entire world of Void. It's amazing that the fighters left on the stage were able to hold on. Even the sky has now been affected, and the stage splits in half. The Xenos show their excitement, as I'm sure we all expected they would. But what was interesting to me is that they didn't show the Grand Priest right here as well. Did he not care? Surely this was worthy of at least a single sentence. I mean, he commented on both Goku's Ultra Instinct awakening and even Vegeta's broken limits. But hey, maybe he's just salty someone could change the color of the sky other than himself. Jiren stands on a floating rock, looking down at his changed friend. My mind wanders, trying to figure out what he could be thinking. The manga pointed out that Jiren was first offered this role, but he declined because it went against his morals. Just by seeing Toppo state twice now that he's willing to put justice to the side proves that they might both be true believers in protecting justice, but they also have different personalities, different views on how to enforce the justice they believe in. Had Jiren tried to convince Toppo that being the god of destruction didn't match his purpose as a Pride Trooper? I personally don't think this decision will affect their friendship, but I think we just saw that Jiren is hurting to see someone he cares about truly throw away the one thing they fought side by side for all this time. But his decision does affect you and me. Not a single one of us has full confidence in Universe 7 at this point. Managed to take out Toppo? Don't get me wrong. That's gonna be highly impressive by itself, but are we forgetting Jiren? We don't really know where Toppo's power level stands at this point. Even before this happened, we knew Toppo was the second strongest mortal. With this much of a leap in power, we're all wondering where this puts him now. Has he now passed Belmont? What about Jiren? I'm just kidding. I don't think any of us would actually believe Toppo has surpassed the strongest. What that tells you is that we all accept Jiren to be even more powerful than cracking the stage down the middle and completely changing the atmosphere around them. The amount of power Goku will have to achieve in the next 5 minutes is beyond comprehension. His best bet at this point is to hope Jiren keeps playing around and forgets to push him off the stage with just his pinky finger before the time runs out. But now we come to one of my favorite parts of the episode. If you weren't a fan of Android 17 before, then you really should have considered becoming one after tonight. Toppo calls him out from behind a rock and blatantly reminds us that he is now beyond justice and evil. His vision is now corrupt with the will to win and survive. He wastes no time attacking Android 17, who finds himself protected by a cracking barrier. Krillin screams out, wondering why no attacks are working. Beerus reminds them of the destruction energy surrounding Toppo's body. But hadn't we seen this before? This appeared to be the same as what Beerus used in his fight with Goku when he first became Super Saiyan God. But I was later proven wrong. Android 17 looks up at this unbeatable enemy and states his shock to both his barrier and his ki waves having no effect. Funny how he didn't seem like he's in shock though. And that's what I love about Android 17. He continues to stay calm as he instantly starts looking for a weakness. This is a completely different sense of calmness than what we saw from Frieza earlier, which is exactly why Android 17 was doing much better against Toppo. But that still won't be enough. Toppo sends another ball of destruction energy right by the stands. Beerus finally figured it out. Toppo does have one weakness, and that's that he has to wait to charge up his energy. Why was this a shock to him? That statement makes me believe that normally, gods of destruction don't need to charge up for this, leading me right back to the question I thought they had solved for me earlier. Is he actually a god, or is he still just a candidate? Krillin instantly lights up. This means Android 17 can find an opening, but Gohan shuts these hopes down as he explains that it wouldn't matter. The destructive energy Toppo has surrounded himself in would leave anyone who attacks him the same as the rubble left behind after being hit by that ball of energy. This cleared a couple things up for us. First, it's over. Toppo is a pure, unbeatable beast. Second, this energy is not what we saw surrounding Beerus in his fight with Goku. Remember, he had been hit by Goku while his aura was leaking out. If what Gohan is saying is true, then Goku never would have been able to make contact with Beerus. His hand would have just disappeared. Just when it seems Android 17 is running out of options, Frieza steps back in. Now in his final form, we see the proof of just how much more powerful Toppo's energy of destruction is, compared to what Frieza had been trapped in before. It took so much energy to escape that he is no longer able to use his golden form. This is where the difference between Frieza and Android 17 gets beyond obvious. Frieza absolutely refuses to believe that someone is stronger than him. He still persists to attack Toppo in a lesser form than earlier, and actually expects to erase him. You can see just by looking at his face that he was going on a crazy rampage, one that easily could have ended his life if Toppo wasn't still in this to save his universe, therefore remembering that he would instantly be disqualified. Instead, Toppo gives him the boot. Android 17 throws a rock to stop Frieza's path into the open void, and I think there's no coincidence that Frieza has been left there, because